Good evening, everyone. I want to call this regular session of the Columbia County Board of Education to order and welcome you who are present this evening. On behalf of the board and Superintendent Flynn, we appreciate your presence and your involvement with our school district. Our regularly scheduled board meetings are a time for the Board of Education, superintendent, and selected staff to conduct important business of the school district within a transparent and public format. To ensure that our meetings go smoothly, professionally, and efficiently, we ask everyone to maintain an appropriate level of decorum at all times. Please abstain from any conduct that would be disruptive or disrespectful. We ask our students and families and those who have joined us this evening to celebrate special recognitions or recommendations to remain until all acknowledgments and board comments have been made. After that, we'll take a short break and dismiss those participating in this portion of the meeting. Just to elaborate on that a bit, we have a great group of people we want to recognize this evening. We split them up into two groups. And y'all, by virtue of your looks, how good looking you are, selected to be first. And, no, I'm just kidding, but if y'all would all remain until our first break, and then we'll excuse our first group of folks that we're recognizing and bring in our second group. So again, thank y'all for being here. It's an exciting time, and this is truly our favorite part of the meeting when we get to recognize our students and our teachers and staff for their great accomplishments. So I want to thank you for that. At this time, I'd like to call on Grace Baptist Church Senior Pastor Bill Hilly to lead us in our invocation.
Thank you very much. Be here. Let's pray together. Father God, thank you for today, for your love and your goodness to us, and thank you for the opportunity we have to celebrate a successful school year. Lord, we know that doesn't happen by accident. We know that the people in this room are responsible for a great deal of success that we've enjoyed as a school system, and I pray your blessing. And then, Father, we're grateful for our board members, we're grateful for the superintendent, for all his staff, for all of our administrators, all of our teachers, all the support staff. Father, we know that it takes a whole lot of people to allow this education system to be successful, and it certainly is that. So, Father, I pray your blessing upon them all. I pray especially for our students. We're grateful for their efforts this year, and I pray that you watch over and keep them safe throughout the summer, that they make wise choices and make sure that they are healthy and strong and ready for our brand new school year when August rolls around. But Father, I pray for the proceedings this evening, that you might just take charge of all that's said and done, and that you might be glorified in everything that we say and do. For all you accomplish, we give you praise and thanks, and ask you in the name of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Pastor Dilly. Next, we are honored to have the 4-H presidents from 2 of our elementary schools present this evening to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. If our 4-H presidents will make their way up to the front and turn around, I'd like to introduce y'all. Just line up across the front here and turn around. And when I call the student's name, if you'll step forward, and if you have family members here, if they'll stand to be recognized also, and at the end we'll give them an applause. From River Ridge Elementary School, we have Elaine Corbin, Chandler Finch, Grant Guest, Allie Metter, Caitlin Starcher, Jackson Sweet. From Westmont Elementary School, we have Lauren Brinson, Elijah Caruso, Shiloh Perry, Chloe Swartz, and Sarah Wood. Give these folks a big hand. Our students will turn and face our flag right here, and if everyone will stand. favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, seeing none. All right, our agenda is approved. Next, we'll turn it over to the superintendent for special recommendations.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good evening, board members, and welcome, everyone. I'd like to reiterate what the chairman has already said, and we're honored that you're here with us tonight. This is a good problem to have. Two groups and standing room only. We just can't say enough about our schools, our students, and all of our employees, as well as our parents here. Thank you all so much, whatever position you're in or part you play. We're here to celebrate you tonight, and we're looking forward to that. Tonight, we're going to start with some special recommendations, which is something that we do for new administrative candidates. And I'll start with our candidate for Harlem Middle School principal position. And I'd ask for Ms. Valerie Reed to come forward. Let me tell you a little bit about her. Ms. Reed holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in Communication from the University of South Carolina, a Master of Education in Curriculum and Instruction from Augusta State University, and certifications in Educational Leadership, Tier 2, Middle and High School Language Arts Curriculum, Teachers, Support Specialists, and endorsements for Gifted and Reading. She began her teaching career at CCBOE Middle School in 2002 as an English Language Arts teacher. In 2005, Ms. Reed transferred to Jenkins White Charter Elementary School and later to John S. Davidson Fine Arts Magnet School, where she continued to teach language arts and social studies. In 2009, Ms. Reed was on the faculty of University of Phoenix College of Humanities program, where she managed and instructed writing, speech, and IT English courses. In 2013, she was the English Language Arts Gifted and Inclusion teacher at Columbia Middle School and later transferred to Lakeside High School as an English Literature and Composition teacher. In 2016, Ms. Reed became the Instructional Specialist at Columbia Middle School, a position she held for 1 year before being named the Assistant Principal, where she's now served for the past 8 years. Ms. Reed's completed the Columbia County Aspiring Principal Academy program, and joining her this evening are a couple of individuals. I'd like to ask y'all to stand so we can honor you as well. Her husband, David, and their children, Dawson, Hudson, and Brooklyn. Thank you all. I know you're very proud. Board members, I present to you our candidate for Harlem Middle School Principal, Ms. Valerie Reed.
We have a motion. All in favor? Congratulations, Ms. Reed. Welcome. And we wish you the best and look forward to great things at Harlem Middle School.
I'd like to call forward our candidate for the principal at Greenbrier Elementary School, Ms. Ashley Odom. Ms. Odom holds a Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Education, a Master of Education in Early Childhood Education, and a Specialist in Teaching and Learning, all from Augusta State University. Certifications in Tier 1 Leadership, Physical Education, and a Reading endorsement. She began teaching at Rollins Elementary School in Richmond County in 2001 as a second grade teacher. In 2003, Ms. Odom transferred to Bel Air Elementary School, where she taught 1st and 5th grade for 10 years. In 2013, at the closing of Bel Air Elementary, Ms. Odom transferred to Martinez Elementary for 1 year, and then to Evans Elementary, where she continued to teach 2nd grade EIP and served as the reading specialist for 7 years. In 2021, Ms. Odom became the assistant principal at Grovetown Elementary School, where she's been serving for the past 4 years. We're proud to recommend her for the principal position, and joining her this evening are a number of individuals. If I can ask you to stand. Her husband, Brent, and their children, Addison and Brett, Ms. Odom's mother, Sharon Bell, and her sisters, Elaine, Stephanie, Stacy, and Elizabeth. Thank you all for joining us. Board members, I present to you our candidate for principal at Greenbrier Elementary School, Ms. Ashley Ogle.
Chairman. Do you accept the superintendent's recommendation?
Do you move to accept?
I do move to accept.
I would second that.
Okay. All in favor, raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Ms. Odom, welcome, congratulations, and we look forward to seeing great things at Greenbrier Elementary.
I'll call forward our candidate for Lakeside High School Assistant Principal, Ms. Tanisha Tolbert. Ms. Tolbert holds a Master of Education in Curriculum and Instruction from Vanderbilt University and a Specialist in Education in Middle Grades Education from Georgia Southern University. Ms. Tolbert began her career in education as a middle grades math remediation teacher in Morgan County in 2015. The following year, she transferred to Warren County, where she taught middle grades math and continued to assist struggling math students. Ms. Tolbert was Warren County's Middle School Teacher of the Year in 2021. She accepted a teaching position at Grovetown Middle in August of 2022. Ms. Tolbert became the instructional specialist at Lakeside High School in August of 2023. Joining Ms. Tolbert this evening, if y'all could stand, are her fiance, Uriah Myrick, her son, Isaiah Myrick, her mother, Angela Tolbert, her sister, Nicole Lester, and her cousin, Anika Dunn. Board members, I present to you our candidate for Lakeside High School Assistant Principal, Ms. Tanisha Tolbert.
Make a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation for Lakeside High School.
Second.
Wonderful. All in favor, raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Ms. Tolbert, welcome to the Lakeside team. We look forward to seeing great things.
I'd like to call forward our candidate for Greenbrier Middle Assistant Principal, Mr. Daniel Jordan. Mr. Jordan holds a Bachelor of Science in Middle Grades Education from Georgia Southern University, a Master of Education in Curriculum and Instruction from Augusta University, and certifications in Middle Grades Science, Math, Language Arts, and in Gifted. He began his teaching career at Greenbrier Middle School in 2008 as an Algebra, Language Arts, and Physical Science teacher. In 2009, Mr. Jordan later transferred to Grovetown High School, where he taught chemistry, physics, and physical science, and served as the head basketball and golf coach. In 2020, Mr. Jordan returned to Greenbrier Middle School as a physical science teacher. As a teacher at Greenbrier Middle School, Mr. Jordan serves as on the school improvement leadership team and as an assistant football coach. He also serves as the head coach for Greenbrier High's flag football team, where you know the girls team has won back-to-back state championships. Pretty incredible. Additionally, he led the Greenbrier High girls golf team to a second place state finish as assistant coach in 2024. Mr. Jordan was also named Teacher of the Year for Greenbrier Middle School and received the Georgia Football Coaches Association Coach of the Year Award in 2024. And on your way out, you can stop and see his picture is still in the lobby out there. So on the way in. Joining Mr. Jordan this evening, if y'all could stand, his wife, Melissa, and their children, Anna Grace, Luke, Olivia, and Carter Jordan. His parents, Mark and Teresa Jordan. His sister, Shana, and her husband, Thomas Monroe, and their children, Kaylee and Camden, and his in-laws, Vernon and Beth Mobley. Thank y'all for joining us. Board members, I present to you our candidate for Greenbrier Middle Assistant Principal, Mr. Daniel Jordan.
I accept this.
Make a motion.
I make a motion. I'm excited, yes, it's great.
I would second that.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Congratulations, Mrs. Jordan. You've got wonderful involvement.
Ms. Teasley, were you his teacher?
He was not one of my victims. I did spend a little time with him though, as bookkeeper of the basketball team. Might have driven him to a game or two.
I see. Okay, I'd like to call forward our candidate for Stalling Island Middle School Assistant Principal, Mr. William McCorkle. Mr. McCorkle holds a Bachelor of Science in Economics from Georgia College and State University, a Master of Arts in Teaching, Secondary Math, grades 6 through 12, and an Education Specialist degree in Curriculum and Instruction, both from Kennesaw State University. He began teaching math at Adairsville High School in 2012. Mr. McCorkle transferred to Greenbrier High 2 years later. He served as the head junior varsity coach and the varsity assistant varsity coach for baseball and softball teams at Greenbrier High School. Mr. McCorkle is a recent graduate of the 2025 Columbia County Aspiring Leaders Academy. We're proud to recommend him this evening, and joining him are his wife, if y'all could stand, Roseanne, and his son, Wills Thomas. Thank y'all for being here. Board members, I present to you our candidate for Stalling Island Middle Assistant Principal, Mr. William McCorkle.
Chairman, I make a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation for Stallings Island.
Second?
All in favor, raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Congratulations, Mr. McCorkle.
This time I'd like to call forward our candidate for our Director of Transportation, Ms. Dana Thompson. Ms. Thompson has served in many capacities in the Department of Transportation as well as in the field of education. Ms. Thompson served as the Assistant Director of West Haven Preschool for 4 years, where she was responsible for hiring, evaluating, and counseling. In 2006, Ms. Thompson became a substitute teacher for the Columbia County School District, where she served for 4 years. She earned her CDL and became a route driver in 2010, as well as a team captain. Ms. Thompson then moved to a trainer position and then a bus manager, where she specialized in special education routing. In 2019, she became the Assistant Director for Transportation, where she currently serves. During her time as Assistant Director, Ms. Thompson has managed routes, been involved in the hiring of bus drivers, led customer service, and collaborated with schools to ensure a safe ride to and from school for all of our students. With Ms. Thompson, if you could stand this evening, is her husband, David. Thank you for joining us. Board members, we're pleased to recommend Ms. Dana Thompson as the Director of Transportation.
I would think the only person that could really make this recommendation would be someone who can drive a bus.
Does anybody have a commercial driver's license?
If he's charged, one of the perks of teaching. Mrs. Thompson, I'm happy to accept the superintendent's recommendation.
Move to accept.
Thank you. Move to accept. It's an exciting night.
All right, that's a motion.
That's not the second
All
one.
right, all in favor of the recommendation, raise your right hand. All right, congratulations, Ms. Thompson.
All right, and now, probably for good reason, I'll call Dr. Carroll forward to help me with the remaining special recognitions, and congratulations to everybody else. We're looking forward to honoring you in just a few minutes.
Good evening. Thank you all so much for being here this evening to share these special recognitions. To all of our students and advisors being recognized tonight, please come forward when you are called and remain until we take your photo. Family members who are here to support these students, please also stand to be recognized. We're excited to open our special recognitions this evening with the Congressional Art Award. Members of Congress sponsor this art competition each spring. challenging students from across the nation to produce an original artwork depicting life in their home district. Congressman Rick Allen recently recognized the two 2025 Congressional Art Competition winners from Georgia District 12 at a special reception in his Augusta office. Both students are from Greenbrier High. The first place winner and recipient of the People's Choice Award, Barry Truck. Second runner-up, Natalie Navarrete. Their art teacher is Laura Thomas, and along with Principal Chip Fulmer. Congratulations. Next, we're honored to celebrate the musical successes of students from each of our high school bands. Being named to the Georgia Music Educators Association All-State Band and Orchestra is one of the highest musical honors a band student can receive in school. To qualify, students must successfully complete 2 competitive auditions consisting of solo performances, sight reading a selection after only viewing it for 30 seconds, and performing all their major scales from memory. Only about 400 students from all high school band members in the state are selected for the All-State Band and Orchestra. The All-State Full Orchestra is composed of all-state string players and the top-scoring band instrumentalists. This is the equivalent of being named a state champion on their instrument. Please come forward when you are called and remain until a group photo is taken for your school. From Evans High School Band, we have Sophia Martin, bass clarinet. Adrian clarinet. Band director Zachary Bradley. I believe Principal Wade White is here as well. Next we have Greenbrier High. Kevin Berry, trombone. Principal tuba, full orchestra. Rigel Codas, principal contra clarinet. Eli Lai, principal tenor saxophone. Grant Ostaber, trombone. Baritone saxophone. Mason Rubano, baritone saxophone. Marcus Snyder, bass trombone. Efe Sriyanwan, bassoon. Noah Tarabi, horn and F, full orchestra. And directors, Dr. Brian Toney. Sebastian Blizzard, euphonium. Band director Steve Whitaker and principal Andrew Young. French horn. And principal KCDs. French horn. Eva Chu, tenor saxophone, full orchestra. Manuel Cummings, tenor saxophone, full orchestra. Meredith Lentz, bass clarinet, full orchestra. Stephen Liu, flute, full orchestra. Tim Payne, clarinet. Grady Reiser, percussion. Dan Stano, trumpet. Anyu Su, alto saxophone, full orchestra. Hannah Zhu, flute, full orchestra. Barry Zoe, percussion. Jared Best. Jonathan Whitmer. And Principal Juliet King. Congratulations to each of It is our pleasure to recognize the recipient of the 2025 Award of Excellence from the Georgia Department of Education. This student was selected by a panel of state judges for her academic and extracurricular achievements during her high school years. This year's Award of Excellence goes to Jasmine Wright of Harlem High School. Jasmine, please come forward. He's here to support Jasmine. And Director Sherrard Pritchett. Congratulations, Jasmine, on a double. To announce two students from Greenbrier High who received the Georgia High School Musical Theater Schuler Award for Best Choreography in a Dramatic Presentation. This award is an annual celebration of excellence in high school musical theater across the state of Georgia. Inspired by the Tony Awards, the Schuler Awards recognizes outstanding achievement in performance, design, direction, and production. These two young ladies bring to the stage leadership, artistry, and their ability to use movement to enhance the storytelling that is remarkable. Receiving this award means their work stood out among hundreds of schools, and it reflects not only their individual excellence, but also their passion for the power of live theater. Clara Farnell. Along with their teacher, Elizabeth Haas. Congratulations, ladies, on your choreography. Next, we have two young men who are required to do their homework on the lake. Trip Tomasi and Matthew Johnson were one of 108 teams who recently competed in the GHSA Bass Fishing State Tournament. The anglers were on the lake from 8 a.m. on competition day until weigh-in at 3 p.m. They were responsible for keeping all fish alive in the live well on the boat for the entire competition and returning them alive to the lake after their weigh-in. Trip and Matthew caught 5 fish with a combined weight of 20 pounds 9 ounces, which gained them the title of GHSA Bass Fishing State Champions. Our advisors are Dana Haddon, head fishing coach, and Allison Gibbs. Congratulations, Greenbrier High State Bass Fishing Champions. We are pleased to announce the winners of the State Science Olympiad competition and the National Science Bowl competition from Lakeside High and Solomon Island Middle School. The U.S. Department of Energy sponsors the National Science Bowl, which brings together the most exceptional young minds from across America with science, technology, and math skills. Each year, more than 10,000 students compete in the National Science Bowl. The competition tests the students on a range of science disciplines, including biology, chemistry, earth science, physics, energy, and math. DOE's Office of Science is the single largest supporter of basic research in the physical science in the United States and is working to address some of the most pressing challenges of our time. A team of Lakeside High science students also competed and placed in the Science Olympiad competition. From Lakeside High, third place teams in the Georgia State Olympiad competition are Coraline Cairns, and Pradeep Srivasan in anatomy. Julia Min, Jerry Fan, and Ariana Benavides, and their advisor is Miss Anita Gangwani. Congratulations, Lakeside High. Also from Lakeside High, we have first place in the National Science Bowl Savannah River Division. Come back up, Jerry Fan. Jamal Patel. Matthias Rivera Samato. David Wang, and George Joe. That's our first place team, if we want to look through. Second place team in the National Science Awards and River Division, Eliana Benavides. Corlin Cairns. Zaysira Lakinsetti. Stephen Liu. Stephen Jong. And advisors Dr. David Arrington. And Dr. John Cato. And now our Science Bowl competition winners from Stallings Island Middle. This science team walked away with a state championship. They also competed in the national finals and cyber competition, where they placed in the top 20 against teams from all over the U.S., including Puerto Rico. The 2025 Georgia State Regional Science Bowl team champions are Bella Carria, team captain. Akash Gupta. Ethan Jen. Ishan Patel. Veer Patel. And their Science Bowl coach is Deborah Hunt. And Vicki Tarleton. Congratulations to each of our science. Next, we are pleased to recognize the state competition winners from Grovetown High's Health Occupation Students of America, otherwise known as HOSA. HOSA is a vital component of the health science education curriculum. They provide powerful instructional tools, recognition, leadership, networking, scholarships, and connections to the healthcare industry. HOSA enhances the delivery of compassionate, quality health care by providing opportunities for knowledge, skill and leadership, development of all health, science, technology, education students, therefore helping students to meet the needs of the healthcare community. They develop and recognize smart, dedicated, and passionate future health professionals. First, for second place for behavioral health, Sophia Colina. Third place, medical reading, Andreas Tony. Her advisor is Jessica Kirby. Congratulations to our Grovetown High HOSA. At this time, we'll take a moment to hear any comments from our board members. Turn it over to Chairman.
Thank you, Dr. Carroll. That was a mouthful. On behalf of the entire board, we first of all congratulate our new administrators at Harlem Middle, Greenbrier Elementary, Lakeside, Greenbrier Middle, and Stallings Island. We're look forward to a great year next year, and excited for y'all to be in those positions. For all of our students and their coaches and advisors that we recognized just now, just let me say a great big thank you for representing Columbia County in such a great way. Give yourself another great hand. We would be remiss in not giving some credit to your parents and to your teachers, and so we're thankful for them as well. To our 4-H presidents, thank you for your leadership tonight and throughout this past year. At this time, I will take a short pause and allow y'all to leave to your right, out the doors for our second group. And you're welcome to stay, but there's not
Okay, perfect.
Been waiting to use that.
Just give me a when you head up.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience and for allowing us to split this up and do this in two sections. Our first group of honorees did a wonderful, but we also want to recognize you as well. So I'll turn this back over to Dr. Carroll.
We would like to take a moment to welcome our teachers, paras, principals, support staff to your special recognition portion of this evening. Our first school recognition goes to our newest military flagship schools. Each year, Georgia recognizes schools going above and beyond to provide a supportive environment for military students and families. Military flagship schools provide specific outreach to military families and recognize and accommodate their unique needs. Schools are chosen through a yearly application process that is open to every school in the state. Applications are reviewed by members of the Military Interstate Children's Compact Commission. This year, State School Superintendent Richard Woods recognized 22 schools across Georgia as military flagship schools. We are proud to announce that 4 of them were Columbia County schools. Recently, Superintendent Woods visited these 3 sites to personally recognize them for their job they do helping military students. First is Cedar Ridge Elementary with Principal Angie McDaniel. Any other staff that's here for Cedar Ridge, please come forward.
Wonderful. You're going to hang that up in the school? All right, great.
Next, we have Grovetown Elementary with Principal Valerie Allen. And any other team members, please come forward. Up next is Greenbrier Middle School with Principal Tony Hyatt. And finally, we have Riverside Middle School and Principal Eli Putnam. Congratulations. We will continue with the 2024 awards from the Governor's Office of Student Achievement. The Governor's Office of Student Achievement used College and Career Ready Performance Index, or CCRPI, data from the 3 most recent school years, 2018 and 19, 2022, 2023, and 2023 and 2024, to determine awards in 2 categories, greatest gains and highest performing. Each award category has 4 tiers: platinum, gold, silver, and bronze. We are proud to present awards to 5 of our schools. For highest performing, Lewiston Elementary Bronze Award and Principal Sherry Allen. And anybody that came with you, please come forward as well. Parkway Elementary with a Bronze Award and Principal Stephanie Winter. Elementary with a bronze award, and Principal Lynn Gardner. For highest performing and greatest gains, we have River Ridge Elementary Platinum Awards and Principal Michelle Miller. Finally, Stevens Creek Elementary with a gold award with Principal Grace Meyer. And now, Assistant Director of HR, Mr. Sean Petro, will announce the winners of the Margaret Rogers Scholarship.
Dr. Thomas Rogers and Dr. Eloise Hancock created this award to honor the memory of their mother, Margaret Rogers. Mrs. Rogers was a medical secretary for the VA hospital in Augusta for 9 years before beginning her career as a teacher in the Columbia County School District in 1956. She retired in 1983 as the Associate Superintendent of Instruction for the Columbia County School District. We awarded the first Margaret Rogers Scholarship in 2011. To both recipients, please come forward when you are called and remain until a photo is taken. Family members here to support these recipients, please stand and be recognized. We invite their principals to come forward with them as well. The winners of the 2025 Margaret Rogers Scholarships are Catherine Negron and Jenna Thompson. Dr. Leslie Dow had this to say about Ms. Negron. She is a natural leader who fosters teamwork among staff and handles tasks with a cheerful, professional attitude. She excels in recognizing positive student behavior and effectively completes instructional tasks. Ms. Negron embraces constructive criticism and constantly seeks ways to assist students, providing tailored support and challenges. Her innovative ideas and inclusive approach ensures all students feel valued. Currently pursuing a degree in education, Ms. Negron's dedication to learning, growth, and teaching makes her an invaluable asset to our school community. Ms. Tanya Gambrell had this to say about Jenna Thompson. Ms. Thompson is a dedicated employee at North Columbia Elementary, currently pursuing a degree in early childhood education. She applies her college learning directly in the kindergarten classroom and eagerly participates in professional development, particularly excelling in early literacy skills. Ms. Thompson's commitment extends beyond the classroom. She assists with the school-wide chorus, contributing significantly to productions like Finding Nemo. Her dedication to her education, her students, and the school community is truly commendable. Despite her busy schedule, she continues to work, raise her children, and excel in her studies. We look forward to seeing her become a Columbia County teacher in the near future. Congratulations to our 2025 Margaret Rogers Scholarship winners.
Now we are excited to present the National Read 180 Outstanding Educator Awards. These educators inspire students to exceed in the classroom and beyond. Educators are selected based on teaching excellence and impact on student growth. Fewer than 50 teachers from across the nation are selected each year. Columbia County is proud to have 2 Read 180 Outstanding Educator Award winners this year. From Harlem Middle School, Claudia Rodriguez and Principal John Bush. Please come forward. Middle School, Nicole Rouge, excuse me, and Principal Jeremy Medlin. Congratulations to our National Read 180 Outstanding. Last but not least, we are proud to present the graduates of the 2024-2025 Columbia County School District's Aspiring Principals Academy. The CCSD Aspiring Principals course is designed for assistant principals that are aspiring to move into the school level principal position. District assistant principals across all 3 levels are screened for participation in a year-long course that assists in preparing them for the principal role. Selected participants take part in monthly classes where expert presentations are conducted by district and school leadership personnel that focus on a variety of leadership topics. Roundtable discussions provide opportunities for participants to think critically, analyze, and apply the focused topic. Outside of class, application of knowledge and skills learned during the course provide real-life opportunities and collaborative conversations with their peers to assist them in thinking through critical aspects as they develop and hone their leadership skills. Participants also attend 1 regular board meeting, 1 study session, and the initial budget meeting. The course culminates with a district screening for the principal candidate pool. Graduates, please come forward when I call your name. Latoya Jackson Barnett from Greenbrier High. Stephanie Berry from Evans Middle. Alexis Gray, Greenbrier Middle. Jackie Jones from Columbia Elementary. Maria Knight from Harlem High. Ashley Odom from Grovetown Elementary. Whitney Palsher from Lakeside High. Kelly Robertson from Brookwood Elementary. Lorena Smith from Stallings Island Middle. And the instructors are Mr. Steve Cummings and myself, Kristen Carroll. Special recognition program this evening, and I will turn the meeting back over. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Carroll. On behalf of the board, just let me congratulate everyone for the accomplishments that have been identified tonight. We are honored to be in your presence, and we're proud of you for the work you've done. You've represented Columbia County in great ways, and many of you will continue to do that as you proceed through leadership, and we're excited about the future based on what we've seen tonight. So thank you so much. If you would like to be excused at this time, we'll stop for a moment and you can dismiss yourself. You're welcome to stay. It's not required. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this time we will return to our regularly scheduled program. I will entertain a motion to approve the consent items.
So moved.
All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed? No. Is there approved? Next, I'll turn it over to Dr. Flynn.
Thank you, Chairman Eagle and board members. It was a great part of the evening. We're looking forward to a couple of presentations that hopefully will also highlight some great successes of the school district. Tonight we're going to be talking first about our strategic planning and the annual goals update and how we've done this past year. As you'll remember, we completed the first two goals at the last meeting, and we're going to finish the last three tonight. We'll start with consistent and supportive culture, and our Assistant Superintendent, Mr. Steve Cummings, is going to present that one. We'll move from there to facilities and operational excellence. That's going to be split between our Associate Superintendent, Ms. Jackson, and our Chief Information Officer, Mr. James Van Meter. Then we'll finish it off with talent optimization with our Assistant Chief Human Resources Officer, Sean Petro. So a lot of good things to come on that. We're looking forward to sharing all of the great things we've done this past year. Can't get them all in there, but some of the highlights. I'll go ahead and introduce the next couple of items also. I'll be back up for the budget presentation, but after the strategic planning one, we're going to have Ms. Leanne Gregg come forward, who's currently the Director of Elementary Curriculum and Instruction, who will very shortly be our Chief Academic Officer, as that time comes near, to present the Student Achievement Update, which is around reading readiness, which we've talked a good bit about. A lot going on with English language arts also, so a little bit of that woven in there, but not only are we really proud of some of the data we're going to share tonight, but also looking forward to some of the things that are coming up in the future. Then I'm going to be back up to do the final budget presentation and move through the meeting from there. So this time I'll turn it over to Mr. Cummings to move through the strategic planning. Mr. Cummings.
Good evening, you guys. It's a great night thus far. I'm excited to present to you guys the progress we've made on our Goal 3, consistent and supportive culture. This goal consists of 3 performance objectives. With the first performance objective I'd like to talk about is to ensure a safe learning environment. To ensure a safe learning environment, our schools continue their efforts to implement PBIS at the distinguished and operational level. We're very excited about where our schools are at as it relates to this specific area. Our Safety Resource Officer conducted campus security awareness walks along with GMA throughout the school year and provided feedback for all campuses to improve safety and security. We also utilize a single district approved platform for reporting student violations of the CCSD Code of Conduct in order to effectively monitor students' behaviors occurring in our schools. And lastly, within this objective, a team of counselors worked throughout the year to develop the K-5 Counseling Academic Curriculum of Excellence. The final revisions are being made, and the counseling aids will be ready for implementation next school year. So those are the improvements we made on that specific performance objective. Performance objective 2 in this goal area is to nurture strong relationships in a supportive environment. To achieve this goal, we enhance and improve our transition events for kindergarten, 6th, and 9th grade students based on feedback that we received from parents who attended those events. We also established a consistent process to ensure a smooth transition with our military families enrolled in our schools. Family engagement was also focused this year as part of our school's improvement plan. Schools provided engagement opportunities for families throughout the school year that supported both academic and extracurricular activities such as academic family nights, student-led programs, and of course, athletics. Continuing with Goal 3, our third and final performance objective is to support the overall health of students. Specialized training was provided for faculty and staff in areas such as CPR, stop the bleed, and diabetes to ensure that personnel are well prepared to support if needed. This year, vision screens were expanded to the high school levels. School nurses conducted the screens for 3rd, 5th, and 7th grade students, as well as high school students. Counselors also provided a list of community resources for our families on each school's website and provided clothing, food, adult education resources, resources for children and adults with disabilities, homeless resources, as well as resources for our military families. We also established a medical team at each school and conducted training sessions throughout the school year. We feel that with these areas, things that we've improved upon, we've established, we made great strides in cultivating a consistent and supportive culture. And we know that we have some areas that we continue to work on moving forward, but we are very proud of where we're at thus far. That concludes where we're at with goal 3. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have as it relates to this specific goal.
Sure, I have a couple questions. What's the name of that single platform?
It's called Spotlight. It's within Infinite Campus.
Okay, I was just going to say what
Yes, ma'am.
And then what's all part of that K-5 counseling curriculum?
I'll have to get you the full details. I don't misinterpret what's in there, but we have a full layout of various supports for schools, just so that we're consistent and what they're providing students as it relates to basic care and things of that nature.
So is that something that's in the classroom, like lessons they bring to the kids, or kind of a way that the counselors themselves handle things amongst them?
I think it's a variety. I think they're using that with their that they were providing to the classes. Also, they can use some of the resources for small groups and things of that nature.
Okay.
If needed.
Parental notification on all that?
Yes, that process is followed.
Okay.
If it's a small group, it will be provided. Parent permission will be provided.
Okay. Is it embedded in the curriculum, or is it a separate counseling time that parents are notified about? I mean, when my kids were in school, it was always the note came home and, there were different counselors.
I would hate to misquote that. I don't know if this grade probably could provide further clarification on what that entails.
Sure. The academic curriculum for excellence related to counseling will be a sequence of lessons that are shared by the counselors when they go in for regular classroom guidance for a whole group of students in the classroom. So we'll provide some consistent resources across our elementary schools so that each student in K-5 will experience similar lessons related to character, conflict resolution, but they're for a whole class. So not your typical individual counseling session that would require parent permission or anything like that, more of a whole class lesson.
Okay, and it's still, parents are notified and their kids can opt out if they want, or is it part of the academic curriculum that is just?
It's currently part of our academic curriculum. It would be to satisfy any particular standards related to parents' law and all of that, but there's parent notification on those as well. So there are portions of it that a parent will be able to opt out of. But most of it is standard, conflict resolution, school preparedness, how can I be prepared for class, ways to be a good student, those types of things that you would typically cover in a regular classroom guidance counseling class.
Okay, and kind of a separate direction, are we looking at bringing in school clinics? I know Dr. Flynn and I have talked about this a few times, and I know the answer was no before. Is it still no?
No.
Okay.
I mean, we have a clinic and a nurse.
Right.
The way you're speaking of it, like doing additional clinician work, we're not doing that. We provide the medication, and if a student comes in hurt, we deal with that, call the parent, and notify them. That's the kind of where we are. And nurses do training for our staff and things like that, but not an actual clinic within the school.
Okay, good, thank you. And then my last question, for the distinguished PBIS schools, do we see a significant decrease in discipline issues for those distinguished schools versus the 3 that aren't distinguished? Or what's the biggest difference we're seeing between?
But some of them started, the ones that are not quite there, they're moving up the progression. So they started later. Some of our schools started later, so they get a different distinction every year. So they're making progress every year. So it may not vary considerably with the discipline, but that is part of the criteria of their discipline referrals.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We'll move now to goal number 4, facilities and operational excellence with improved operational processes and systems. Operational efficiency continued to be a priority, and we emphasize custodial care and maintenance of our facilities. More lead custodial training was put in place with an emphasis on floor maintenance. We improved our process for receiving free and reduced applications to help maximize the benefits that qualified students can receive, not only in delicious meals, but also with SAT and ACT fees and other benefits that might entail. Next year, we will focus on the marketing with not only the applications, but also marketing our participation and trying to get more participation in our breakfast and lunch program. All kitchen equipment has been replaced, and I am happy to report that our health inspections in all of our kitchens were rated at 100% this year. The FMX scheduling model was utilized to conduct maintenance and cleaning that did not interfere with instruction, and transportation continued to improve their route efficiency. As we mentioned in a previous meeting, we will switch over from Edgelog to TransFinder to bring our routing system up to date with improved real-time information for parents, school staff, and our bus drivers. The second objective is to identify planning for upcoming facility needs. As you know, we're in phase 1 of our 10-year building program. This past year, we opened Westmont Elementary, and we look forward to opening North Columbia Elementary this fall. Evans and Lakeside are under some reconstruction, as you know. And Harlem High, Grovetown Middle, and Grovetown Elementary are scheduled for renovations and additions and/or additions in this particular phase of our 10-year building program. As you also know, East Floss passed again this year, and we are very grateful to our Columbia County voters. We have started implementing the SAFE system with our current schools. If you recall, this was going to be a 3-year process that has turned into a 9-month process for technology and school safety. The SAFE system is our emergency response system that ties into the audio enhancement system that we already have in schools for voice amplification in our classrooms. The SAFE system enables teachers and staff members to activate emergency responses that SROs, administrators, and other law enforcement agencies and first responders will have access to. They do this with a duress signal system that is located in the audio enhancement pendant that they wear around their neck. We also continued our implementation of the new CoreMax key system at several schools this year to help with the securing of buildings, along with completing the secured vestibules in all of our schools to restrict access. We have been proactive with identifying aging equipment at the school level and will continue that cycle of replacement. We've already talked about kitchen equipment, but other examples include playground equipment, fencing, sound system, bleachers, etc. And I'm going to turn over now to Mr. Van Meter, who will talk about technology.
Wait, while we're still talking English, I have a question.
Yes.
Maybe two. Okay, the key management system, is that an actual physical key or is that digital?
This is a key system, yes. But we're also, part of that is with the fob system that we will have to, that will be our next phase. That's coming in August. You'll hear a little bit more about the intercom and epic system with our fob system.
And what are we anticipating in terms of transitioning from Edgelog to the new system?
Well, we will start that. Hopefully, we already have Edgelog for this next year, so we'll have a smooth transition in the fall. But we're already working with TransFinder and hope to have full implementation in January of this next year. So we want our stakeholders not to feel any bumps in the road, literally, with our transportation system.
Good evening, Board. Here to present Performance Objective 3, your favorite subject, technology. Goal 1 for us is improving technology access, specifically addressing how we reduce the amount of network downtime for our students, faculty, and staff. Through the use of monitoring and management tools, we keep thousands of devices within our district connected to educational resources at a current rate of 99.8% of the year. These network management and monitoring systems are configured with thresholds set to notify our team prior to an outage. For instance, the week of April 28th, while in the middle of standardized testing, our primary internet connection dropped. The fiber connection was damaged somewhere between Evans and Atlanta. This disruption affected multiple districts and schools, including McDuffie County, YDC, Salem, and others. Within 10 minutes, our secondary connection was online and network services restored. We kept the secondary connection current until May 9th. And it took less than 5 minutes to switch it back to our primary. Much of our digital infrastructure is upgraded with E-rate funding. We've talked about this in the past. It's a federal program specific to public schools and libraries. This critical program provides shared funding opportunities for very specific digital resources, which brings us to our second goal, which is improving connectivity. Over the last year, we have brought many hardware improvements to the board for approval. As you all know, they're not inexpensive, they're expensive. Some of these technologies are physically housed in two of our two data centers. And these are encompass firewalls, routers, backup solutions, virtualization. In addition, this funding is used to update the technology infrastructure at each school and support facilities. These technologies include network racks, which often require a renovation of an area because we're doubling in size when we put these racks in. Fiber optic cable, copper cabling, switches, routers, and wireless access points. When many of our schools were built, the only device connected to the network was a single computer in the classroom or an administrative office. We still have those old copper wires, along with hundreds of additional cables that have been installed over the years. That copper cable is being replaced with more modern network cabling to pass more data at higher speeds. For instance, a modern classroom has 2 network connections at the teacher's desk for a computer or a spare. One for the audio enhancement safe system, one for the projector, and one for the wireless antenna. Unfortunately, improvements to our technology infrastructure are expensive, which is why we will be making these upgrades and improvements as funding and time permits. Details of these projects remain part of our building plans. Thank you for your time, and I'll answer any questions you may have.
Like you said, 98.8% of the uptime. What is your goal? I mean,
5 nines is always the goal.
Yeah, 5 9.
Right.
Probably a possible life of that, right?
It is, well, the challenge we have is we take into consideration when there is a fiber break outside of our control. So the way we get our primary connection from the state bids it, it goes to the company that won it was Educational Networks of America. They subcontract last mile fiber, and it's unfortunate, well, it's Comcast. And they've had a few issues. We also took into consideration Kelly. So internally, our internal network never went down, but unfortunately, our internet connection did.
So you're saying that the problem during testing was not typical? We don't typically have problems during testing?
Correct. But what we did, because of the criticality of testing time and all time, everything's online, right? So we have a second connection. So our primary connection goes to Atlanta, 56 Marietta. Our backup it's a completely separate provider, it's AT&T, and it goes to Jacksonville. So they're completely separate routes. So if we do have an issue like we had somewhere between here and Atlanta, the fiber breaks, it's an alternate path.
Board members, you'll remember, this has been going on for about 2 years, getting this set up, and it was not an easy task. As a matter of fact, I think you even had to bring in some external consultants to help make the switchover work. I mean, it was a pretty big lift, and over some of the past years, we've had that drop, and if that had happened, what happened this year, and we didn't have that, we would have been rescheduling those entire days. So it would have pulled everybody off. We'd have pretty much lost that day, and I think that one could have lasted a couple of days. They were having some issues on that one. So when we started talking about this a couple of years ago, kudos to y'all, because we were able to get that going and funded, and now we're reaping the benefits. So it's pretty big. It's something that a lot of districts don't have.
So how fast is it changing, like the technology? Like, are we ahead? Are we behind? Are we?
Oh, we're ahead. We're from a school district perspective, I think we're pretty far ahead.
How much would you say that we spend, or that we save, I guess, in line, because of how elevated you made this network, and the dollars we spent on it, you know? If we'd have lost that day, what would that have cost the school system?
You have to remember your telephones are connected to the network too. So no communication, no instruction, invaluable, but I don't know how you would put a dollar figure on that kind of a loss.
Just the stress and everything else in the middle of testing, lose that connection.
It is.
And then trying to make it up later. I mean, the impact it had in the classroom, on the kids and parents, and nothing good about that.
Well, I reason to bring it up because we're in the middle of budget, right? And I love to point out to people, I want them to understand, the public especially to understand, like, if we can, put our hands around what this really means when we lose connectivity and why we spend our minds the way we do, and why this is a budget item that is important to us.
So I think the biggest thing, and we can make this as broad as you want, but you start internal to a school, right? Back in the day, when these schools were built, you had a 48-inch rack stuck in the front office, and you ran one network cable to a classroom, right? And that's what you had. And that was old technologies, that's, Cat5, some people will understand that. And just over time, it's just evolved, right? And it's still evolving. I went to Cisco in Atlanta. They're everything's kind of being not only connected, but powered through the network. So your access points don't have a 110 plug. They're powered through that wire. All kinds of stuff is powered through that. The safe system is powered through the network. So, and so what you end up with is kind of you come up with a plan, and then it kind of grows legs, right? Because, well, now you got to have every closet on a generator. Because you need to get that power and on a UPS, make sure your power's conditioned. So to put a dollar figure on it, I think you really can't. It's how important is education? Keeping your kids connected. Because you all know, everything's in the cloud. Everything's in the cloud.
You'll also note that when E-rate or any other number of grants come up, we're ready to go on those. So you could easily lose a good bit of money in the school district if you're not ready to take it when it comes. So that strategic planning, which is kind of what we're talking about right now, has set the stage, and James and his team have set us up for that. So when we bring that in, most of the time we know that's coming, but every now and then we don't exactly know when that funding is going to come down at the federal level. So if you're not ready, you may miss out on that, but we're ready.
And if I may, I'll give you an example. This last E-rate, we're in the last year of our 5-year cycle. So the money we get this year, and we'll start again next year, we get a new pot of money. We have 5 years to use it. I don't know, 2 weeks before we needed, our deadline had to be turned in, they all of a sudden came up with like $300,000. Well, I don't want to lose $300,000 in E-rate funding. So we threw out rewiring 2 schools. And as of right now, it's been awarded. We're still waiting to hear back. But I don't know if I should name the schools, but they're both the same floor plan, so it made it a little bit easier. But they're a little bit older schools. So we try to maximize the money the district gets with these things.
Will we use SPOS money for this? Or where's the balance between SPOS for technology? Because I think technology is one of the SPOS items, right?
It is.
So do we have kind of a rule of thumb on what's general fund versus what's SPOS, or categories, or how do we?
There's a number of requirements around that, and some of it's built into the building program. And so some of the full-scale schools that are getting renovations, that would be built into the plan, whereas other ones would be things that we would do or contract out. So it really depends. There's probably 5 or 10 different ways that we do that, and then Alex has to figure out a way to put that into the budget, which is all laid in there on either the SPOS budget or on the general fund, so it just kind of depends on.
And it's, in the past, E-rate's been 50-50, now it's 60, it's coming up to 60-40. So we still have to come up with the money, and, you know, that's a lot. Technology isn't cheap, it just isn't.
Seems like there's some flexibility for whatever works best in the budget. Okay. Well, and thank you for all your foresight in making that happen. Clearly, like you said, that works for 2 years in the administration and the board, so that's excellent foresight.
Thank you.
Thank you. Questions? Thank you very much.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Our final goal of our strategic plan is talent optimization. We want to attract high-quality staff, provide professional growth opportunities and development for all employees, and retain a highly effective workforce. Performance Objective 1, attract a high-quality staff. To attract a high-quality staff, we continue to work to improve our messaging about the teaching profession, which dates back multiple years. In spring 2023, the Human Resources Department redesigned our webpage to offer a modern feel and showcase various career opportunities. Our career opportunities page continues to be one of the top 5 most visited pages on our website. In spring 2024, we added a frequently asked questions section to provide visitors with information on certification, salary, and benefits. We are also exploring engagement opportunities with Georgia's Teaching the Peach campaign, which highlights the teaching profession. Our website is a robust entity that serves as a comprehensive resource, offering a wealth of information to our visitors. It is designed to provide detailed insights and valuable content across various topics, ensuring that users have access to the information they need. Our partnership with Augusta University continues to flourish. In school year 2025, we hosted teacher pathway meetings to provide paraprofessionals and substitute teachers with information on certification and preparation programs. On March 25th, we collaborated with Richmond, McDuffie, Lincoln, and Burke counties to host the inaugural CSRA Advanced Teacher Degree Fair, featuring 11 colleges and universities, including Augusta University, Georgia Southern, Kennesaw State, Georgia College, and Valdosta State. The fair was a success, and plans are already in place for school year 2026. Additionally, HR representatives attended 9 education fairs on college campuses and presented at Augusta University's Future Georgia Educators and Impacting Student Learning conferences. We're exploring further engagement opportunities with Augusta University, including recruiting student athletes into the teaching profession through meetings with Ryan Erlocker, Director of Athletics. Our HR department maintains a strong relationship with Brooke Smith, Director of Career and College Readiness. Mr. Smith's commitment to our Teaching as a Profession program, along with the support of our district and school level leaders, has led to a program with nearly 500 enrolled students. We actively participate in the annual TAP Talks event, presenting to students and visiting TAP classrooms to discuss the benefits of becoming a teacher. Graduating TAP students are guaranteed an interview at our annual teacher screening, which serves as our teacher career fair. Selected TAP students attend our annual end-of-year celebration, commonly known as the Rookie of the Year event, where scholarships are awarded by Georgia's own credit union. Additionally, TAP students participated in Georgia's statewide Educator Signing Day, where 3 students and 1 teacher attended the in-person event at the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta, Georgia. We are proud to announce that through collaborative efforts with Augusta University, our community will have a cohort of speech-language pathology students starting classes on August 11th, 2025, with graduation set for May 2027. Previously, CSRA students had to attend other universities, making this a significant opportunity for our community. Performance Objective 2, provide professional growth opportunities and development for all employees. In collaboration with Dr. Carrie Ann Cushman, Coordinator of Teacher Development and Professional Learning, our HR department is committed to providing learnership development for our classified staff. Dr. Cushman led training throughout the year to foster leadership skills. She received positive feedback on the effectiveness of this training. We prioritize the alignment of job descriptions in the job evaluation process to ensure clarity and fairness. We have crafted detailed and standardized job descriptions that accurately reflect the roles and responsibilities of each position, providing employees with a clear understanding of their duties. During the onboarding process, each employee is given a pre-conference, which details their job description and managerial expectations for their position. As a follow-up to their initial conference and their induction period, all employees engage in mid-year conferences and final evaluation meetings. At these meetings, supervisors review job descriptions, employee performance, and set goals. Our commitment to excellence is demonstrated through regular reviews and updates of job descriptions and evaluation processes, ensuring they remain relevant and aligned with the school district's goals. The third and final performance objective for Goal 5 is Performance Objective 3, retaining a highly effective workforce. The Benefits and Compensation Committee meets quarterly to discuss the Columbia County School District compensation package. Our current average teacher salary is over $72,000 a year, leading to a total compensation exceeding $100,000 a year. Our employee benefits manager, Lori Braswell, consistently communicates with employees regarding our benefits. She holds information meetings on open enrollment, TRS retirement, and PSERS retirement. We recently improved our dental and vision plans during the latest open enrollment and added to our life insurance benefit. We recently completed our 4th edition of the Gallup Q12 survey, with Columbia County performing well compared to the Q12 database. Our grand mean, measuring overall engagement, ranks in the 85th percentile. This score is an average of 12 work group engagement items, known as the question 1 through question 12, with higher scores indicating more engaged employees. Our engaged employees are 9 percentage points higher than the Gallup National Database. Thank you for your continued support and dedication. We're excited about the progress we've made and look forward to continuing our efforts to support and engage our community. Together, we are building a brighter future for education in Columbia County. Please let me know if you have any questions.
That's on the Gallup. How are questions chosen for that?
It's a standardized process. Gallup has a Q12, so Q1 through Q12 is standardized.
There's no feedback on those questions going there from everyone in the district, or is it district heads that sort of do that, or you just use standard questions that are used across the nation?
That's correct. Gallup has a Q12 that's been vetted and researched extensively, so there's no straying away from those 12 questions.
We don't pick the questions.
We don't. It's standardized across their database.
Well, I'm excited that where I work, we have gone back to letting students come to clinicals, and we've hired one of our consultants. I didn't know about it. She was like, I'm going to Columbia County. I said, I'm on the school board. She said, really? And I was like, yeah. So I'm excited. So please start using.
Yeah, I cannot.
I see it from out of state through like online programs. We'll be excited to have the investment program.
Can't overstate how big that is for our community. It's really important.
I agree. I'm excited to see it. Be nice.
Well, thank y'all for your support.
Good evening. As Dr. Flint mentioned earlier, I'm going to share a student achievement update tonight with you, and this presentation will be centered around reading readiness. As a reminder, the data that is shared in our presentation tonight is available to the public on the Godot website. A student's Lexile level is a score relative to a student's reading ability in relation to text complexity. Lexile scores are generated from a formula based on the Metametrics Lexile framework for reading. This formula and framework uses specific areas within reading assessments to calculate or generate a student's Lexile. This is not something that can be generated from a teacher assessment, paper, pencil. Lexiles are generated from formal assessments such as the Georgia Milestones Assessment, the MAP Growth Reading Test, Diddle's Next, and the iReady Diagnostic are a few. A Lexile identifies the right level of reading materials for students based on their reading ability, not necessarily their grade level. The GMOS Lexile is generated from student performance within reading and vocabulary domains on the GMOS assessment. Encouraging students to read within their Lexile stretch band helps challenge and improve their reading ability while allowing them to read independently without frustration. It is important to remember that a Lexile is just one approach to measuring reading readiness. Reading readiness can be measured in a variety of ways, such as reading fluency or rate, reading accuracy, reading comprehension, decoding, or word reading, to name a few. Each of these approaches are selected for a purpose, but they all provide information related to reading readiness and ability. Throughout the presentation, I will share the district's median Lexile for each grade level as compared to the state and our local RESA. The space between the yellow lines represent the on-grade level stretch band. Therefore, students with a Lexile between 520 and 669 are performing on grade level for third grade. As you see before you, third grade students across the state, RESA and CCSD, have a Lexile median above 520, with our students outperforming their peers with a median Lexile of 740. This is significant for CCSD as it means that more than half of our third graders are reading at or above the midpoint of the stretch band, and they're ready for more challenging academic content. When comparing the percentage of students at grade level or above in reading readiness, we continue to outperform the state. You'll notice a slight dip for both the state and our district from 22-23 to 23-24. When comparing our students' performance with all Georgia public schools with 25,000 plus students enrolled, the Columbia County School District ranked first along with Forsyth County in third grade reading readiness. This is the second consecutive year that CCSD third graders ranked first among the larger school districts in the percentage of students at grade level or above. Before we move to the next slide, I want to draw your attention to only the districts that are listed in the top 10 on this slide. For example, you will see that Henry County ranked 10th with 56% of students reading at or above grade level, while Columbia County ranked first with 80% of students at or above grade level in third grade. There is a 24-point difference between the performance for students in our district versus Henry County. In fourth grade, we also performed above the state in RESA with a median Lexile level of 880. Again, this is significant as it means more than half of our fourth graders are reading at or above the midpoint of the stretch band, and they're ready for more challenging content. The percentage of students performing at or above grade level in fourth grade has remained consistent for the last 3 years at 75%. When comparing our students' performance with all larger public schools in Georgia, Columbia County School District ranked first. As we move on to fifth grade, the trend continues. CCSD fifth graders performed above the state and RESA with a median Lexile of 1060. Again, we have more than half of our fifth graders reading at or above the midpoint of the stretch band. For the past 3 years, we've seen positive trends in reading readiness among our oldest elementary students. In 2023-24, 87% of our fifth grade students were reading on grade level or above. Our fifth grade performance in 23-24 also puts us in the top ranking for all larger public schools in Georgia. This cohort improved from 79% at grade level and above in 21-22 when they were in third grade to 87% at grade level and above in 23-24 when they were in fifth grade. This growth is evident that teaching and learning taking place in Columbia County schools is strong. At the middle school level, our sixth graders are also outperforming their peers across the state and RESA with a median Lexile of 1085. Again, more than half of our sixth graders are reading at or above the midpoint of the stretch band and ready for more challenging content. Like we saw in fifth grade, we have also seen a steady increase in sixth grade reading performance from 68% in 21-22 to 74% in 23-24. When compared to the larger public schools in Georgia, our sixth graders ranked second for the third consecutive year. Seventh graders continue the positive trend, outperforming their peers across the state and RESA with a median Lexile of 1195. Again, more than half of our seventh graders are reading at or above the midpoint of the stretch band. The percentage of seventh grade students reading at grade level or above has increased for the last 3 years, with 81% of seventh graders performing at or above grade level in 23 and 24. When compared to the larger public schools in Georgia, our 7th graders ranked 2nd for the 3rd consecutive year. 8th grade also performed well with a median Lexile of 1225, indicating that more than half of 8th graders are reading at or above the midpoint of the stretch band. Again, this is excellent news for our district and evidence that teaching and learning is strong in Columbia County. When comparing the percentage of 8th grade students at grade level or above in reading readiness, we continue to outperform the state. Although we had a slight dip from 22-23 to 23-24, this cohort actually has shown great improvement over the last 3 years. In 21-22, when this cohort of students was in 6th grade, only 68% performed at grade level or above, and as you can see by the end of middle school, 80% are at grade level and above. The 24 performance of our 8th graders ranked CCSD 2nd, just 1 percentage point behind Forsyth and Houston counties. This is the 2nd consecutive year we have ranked 2nd among Georgia public school districts that have 25,000 plus students enrolled. Students in American literature also performed well with a median Lexile of 1355, again indicating that more than half of our 11th graders are reading at or above the midpoint of the stretch band. The percentage of students performing at or above grade level in American Lit has remained relatively consistent for the last 3 years, with 77% of our students performing at or above grade level. In American Lit, we ranked 3rd for the 2nd consecutive year among Georgia public school districts with 25,000 plus students enrolled. We're extremely proud of our teachers and our students. The work and the dedication to making sure we are educating and helping our students reach their maximum potential is evident in this data. We know that our work is not complete, and we're committed to continuous improvement. As we begin to prepare for the implementation of the new ELA standards, there are several areas that we will focus on specifically. We've shared with you recently the new ELA GMOS will include short multimodal text. Some text could be from audio and video sources with captions. Students will experience technology-enhanced items that require them to highlight words and portions of the text, order and sequence items, and or match items in tables, lists, and graphics. The new GMOS redesign will have students in grades 4, 6, and 7 participate in peer revision tasks instead of an extended writing task that they're traditionally used to. The reading status and Lexile measure will generate from test questions that require students to interpret text, while the overall ELA achievement will generate from tasks that require students to both interpret and construct text. We are taking steps to support teachers and students in order to respond to the changes in GMOS. Our team is adjusting the academic curriculum for excellence to ensure that teachers and students have access to multimodal text and provide student opportunities to assess using technology-enhanced typed items. We recently designed a training presentation for our teachers that captures and shares the changes related to the GMOS, the ELA GMOS update, so they have a clear picture of how best to prepare for their learning experiences in the classroom and to support these changes. We will continue to provide resources and support teacher planning to ensure our students are well prepared for the new GMOS. At this time, I'll pause, and if you have any questions.
Reading status and Lexile measures are going to be generated from interpreting text.
Say that one more time.
Looking at this 4th bullet here on the last slide on the new ELA. Okay. Well, so the student's going to is going to interpret whatever is presented on the test, and from that, the reading status and the Lexile will be determined.
Yes.
Has this been piloted anywhere?
I'm with you. Okay, now I see that too, and I just have more questions.
Okay, because this sounds subjective, to say the least.
So think about the portions of the test that the reading status and the Lexile come from now. They are basically reading comprehension questions, vocabulary questions centered around passages that they read and questions they answer related to reading and vocabulary. So with the new standards, students have to interpret text, which sometimes can be a fancy way for saying they have to understand what the text is that's presented to them. So it will take the reading status and the Lexile measure, that it'll generate that from that portion of the text versus like the constructing text portion is them writing and responding to text that they're reading. So that's the entire ELA score, kind of like it is now. It's generated from both all of the multiple choice and the reading comprehension section as well as the extended writing portion.
So this is not going to be all there is to it.
No, it won't.
It's not as different as it looks.
Right. Well, I wouldn't say it's not as different as it looks because there are a lot of changes to the ELA standards and some things that we're going to have to do in our resources to make sure we allow kids to have those experiences so they're prepared. But the wording is different. The way they're generating the score isn't necessarily that different.
We'll see.
No, I'm with you. So let me just make sure I'm understanding correctly. Even the way the test stands now, they're not taking an actual Lexile assessment. The Lexile score is being mathematically derived from the way they insert the test scores.
That is correct.
Okay. And how many years have they been doing this current method?
The Lexile, the way Lexiles are generated is from a formula based from Metametrics. That's the founding entity that developed the Lexile framework and how they generate those scores. So that mathematical formula is placed into whichever assessments have the appropriate type of reading questions that would allow them to generate that. Not every reading assessment can you generate a Lexile from. More formal assessments like the milestones would be one of them. The math assessment, those types of things, Dibbles. Of course, our EOC courses as well.
I was just going to say, I know you mentioned a few. Do we use all of those, or which ones do we use locally to assess Lexile scores?
Our local assessment that we use 3 times a year for K-8 is the iReady diagnostic. So our students take that in K-8 for reading and math, and it generates a Lexile measure, or Lexile score from that assessment. So we have access to that 3 times throughout the year, and we can measure whether or not students are growing throughout the year with that particular assessment. At the high school level, we have the HMH growth measure, which also generates a Lexile measure.
What about our benchmarks? Do they generate Lexile or no?
No, they do not.
And then, I know you don't probably have the information on hand. Is that something, first of all, I've asked for Lexiles and this is brought them, and I'm so grateful for that. So first, thank you. I've seen it. So I'm really excited about that. Is there maybe you could provide us information, either another presentation or just by email, kind of what our iReady diagnostic Lexiles look like, so we can kind of see how they look compared to the state methods? I'm just curious.
Yeah, we can provide some information. Really,
it's good to kind of see between the two. And then my last question, before I was looking at all this, I was kind of following the NAEP data, that nation's test scores, and I'm just curious, how does Georgia testing compare to the NAEP testing? I know they're different tests, but they do both an assessment for reading proficiency. Is Georgia's level of proficiency the same as the NAEP level of proficiency, or is that something we could...
Are you referring to Georgia milestones in comparison to that assessment? I can get that information for you, but I don't have it right.
Okay, I'm just curious how our state, because I know part of our statement is we're trying to lead the nation, so I think it would be kind of interesting to see where our state assessment standards for reading readiness and proficiency relate to the national standard, I guess, for reading proficiency. I guess I'd be curious for that.
Yeah, I can get that information.
Okay. Great job, thank you. I'm really excited to see, data like that.
ELA, GMS, and GMAS updates, so we're all sort of required to make these updates. Is everyone, because we're all waiting, right, all the scores we went through, all these districts, are they all the same standard and can they all get there? Or does it require funding that maybe some districts don't have? Are we going to be measured? We're getting measured the same, I guess.
We're
Going forward.
all of the counties that you saw there, that were in that list are all held to the same reading standards that we are in the state of Georgia. They're measured the same way. Now, whether or not our resources and their resources are the same, I can't say that they are. Each local district, selects their own resources. I do know that our academic curriculum for excellence has given us the opportunity to provide quality resources in a structured way to our teachers across the district. And that, coupled with strong reading resources, I think have given us the ability to be where we are in the area of reading readiness. But we all work toward the same standard, and whether we have the same resources or not is,
The money that, I guess what I'm getting at is the dollars that we spend have enabled us to possibly get ahead of some other districts and perform better because we've been able to put dollars towards some of the technology. Right? That's a fair statement?
Absolutely. I mean, what the money that our district puts towards instructional resources, whether those be human resources or physical purchased resources, definitely impact our ability to stay ahead.
I'll also mention, and you can follow up on this, when the state gave us a pretty good warning that this was coming, and along the way, we participated in every aspect of that and the development. Now, they didn't take all of our input, but even when the state school superintendent came down a few weeks ago, he was thanking us, as we were talking to him, because we're always one of the districts that is involved when they present the information, and we always provide feedback. And then we bring that back and we start that training early and start getting those materials ready for our teachers. I would say the districts that do that are going to be ahead, especially on these standards. But also, the teachers are going to know what's expected. So, the last thing you want is to be held to a standard that you don't know what it is. So, I hope we're providing that for our teachers. You can follow up on all that because you're a lot closer, but that's something we try to stay up with.
You do. We've spent a good bit of time this year working with our instructional specialists at each of the levels, as well as the teacher teams, with the ACE work and with all of the development of training and rollout for the new ELA standards to make sure we've given them a really good glimpse and picture of the changes so that they are fully aware of what instruction in the classroom has to look like in order to make sure our students are adequately prepared for that EOG at the end of the year.
All sounds great. And the last thing, I always like to be the best in everything, right? That's what we're trying to strive. How is it Forsyth has 10 points higher on that one category? Like, what in the world do we need to do to get there? What are they doing different?
Don't ask that question because it involves millions of dollars.
Oh,
Whether programs or positions out there, that we're not doing that others doesn't put
And they have more students.
do, or are we doing pretty much what we need to do?
I think every district has, one thing that they do differently than another district, so I'm sure there's a list of things, differences as well. But on our horizon, we are continuing to look for high-impact strategies that we can utilize in the classroom across content areas to make sure our students are growing at all levels and in all content areas. So we're committed to continuing to make sure that those high impact strategies where teachers get the most and students, achieve better are our focus at this time. So.
Are you sure you want to leave this?
I will mention one more thing because you asked that about them. They asked that about us, and I get frequent calls from other superintendents wanting to come down and see what we're doing because they see our scores. So it goes the other way too.
I have a final question, just jumping off of what they were saying. You said whenever implementing new strategies, looking for faults, that's excellent to hear. how long would you say between implementing a new strategy can we realistically expect to see some sort of results? Is it a few years where you would follow the cohort, or how?
I think following a cohort is a best practice. Implementing strategies can get you an immediate result in the classroom, but seeing that result across, assessment scores often takes some cohort following. So I think it would be important to continue to follow cohorts of students as we implement additional strategies, continue to focus on our instructional framework and the utilization of our academic curriculum for excellence.
Benchmark should be somewhat helpful in that too. I mean, it wouldn't take the place of the long-term results, but I would think we'd get better feedback of that now than we used to get in the past without the benchmarks.
Right, the benchmarks are a really good tool for our teachers to be able to monitor their progress in an ongoing fashion throughout the year, not have to wait until the end of the year for the EOG or the EOC. So the benchmark is a great tool for us to measure how we're doing on the standards immediately. Thank you.
Well, let me thank all of our presenters and a whole lot of other people that are working with them, but also our schools. I mean, it has to play out somewhere, and that is in the classroom. So if the teachers aren't getting what they need and they're not getting the resources, it doesn't happen. So kudos to our schools. Because as we look at aggregate data, we share that here a lot. We talk about it. If you can't take that data point down to an individual student, then you're missing something. And so we try to do that and keep that focus on the classroom, and we'll continue to do that. So thanks for our schools and our teachers, because that's where it actually happens. Okay, we'll move on to the next item, which is the final budget. Board members, you have provided approval for a tentative budget at the last meeting, and so at this point in the meeting, we're here to answer any other questions. If you don't have any additional questions, we would recommend approval of the tentative budget as the final budget for the next school year.
Nothing's changed on here, correct?
No, it's the tentative budget that was approved.
Are we doing discussion now or after the motion?
You have a motion and a second, and then you have a discussion. I'll make a motion to approve the final budget.
Make a motion to accept the budget.
Second.
Any discussion?
I think we've had some really great discussions on this, and I'm grateful to the board for that. Some of the things I had wanted to see, I don't think we quite got there, especially trying to bring those local sources down about $3 million to match inflation rate only. And just from my perspective, ideally, my goal is to take up Mr. Kent's challenge for us to get to that local version of 581. And I think that's going to start with, creating budgets that start going on a route that are a sustainable practice of building budgets towards inflation versus the market ups and downs. And I think once we start building budgets like that, then that would give us kind of data to start looking to see what we would need to do to translate that into our own version of 581. So that's kind of where my goal is. I understand it's a journey. It's not going to be something that happens overnight or even in a year. But I'd like to go towards that. And then I've heard a lot of feedback from constituents saying that Richmond County their exemptions all the way down at age 65 and Columbia County's at 70. That's something I'd like to work towards as well. But most importantly, it's not just that they're pipe dreams, it's that when I see our revenues consistently over time, I see that we are consistently bringing in surpluses and from a variety of ways. So I do believe we're able to do it. I believe from what I'm seeing in the data that it's there. I believe we can meet the needs of the school district and taking care of our teachers and providing for our students. So I see a way that we can do it. I would just like to see discussions go in that direction. So I'm not seeing that in this particular version of the budget, but I think we've had some great discussions. I want to thank the board for those, and I really look forward to continuing discussions hopefully in that direction come military time together. And just throwing it out there is those two goals, the 581 and the tax exemption lowering to 65, are those things that we all agree that we're trying to move to, assuming of course that the revenue's there and we can provide for the school district's needs at the same time.
So, do you know how many points we'd have to raise the millage rate if we lowered the 70 exemption?
I don't know offhand.
That would be important to know before you would promote that. Because you're basically shifting about $16 million. Is it 16 million, Dr. Flynn?
That's something we might want to even run again, but it could be a little higher.
It could be higher, especially as our population ages. So I think it'd be important for you to run those numbers and, you know, determine where you want the millage rate to be for everyone else. And then as far as 581, I think it's impossible for us, before we know exactly what the tax digest is going to come in at, I think it would not be prudent to tie your hands and limit yourself. I'm in favor of local control, and I believe that we've managed our finances very well for the past 12 or 15 years or longer. And so it's not, I mean, those arbitrary goals, I would not sit here and say I would agree with that without having more information to be more clear about what our revenues will be.
I would just add that if I may, Mr. Chairman, I mentioned it before, I'd love to see us grow some more commercial tax revenues. I think that's an element that we are missing in Columbia County, that the Richmond counties and other districts have. Again, I mentioned it in the last meeting that we are, I think, in a very good position to have that. And so that once we get some of that revenue, that tax revenue, I think we can have the discussion, which I love, about getting to 65, to getting closer to that rate of inflation. Absolutely. To answer your question again, is yes, that's the direction I want to go. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you use the word it's a journey. I think personally, I want us to move in that direction that you, for the most part, that you're wanting to move towards. I made that very clear during the 581 discussions. But I do think that we need to have some commercial revenues to sort of accomplish some of those goals.
Chairman, I think this is all great conversation. I think we're all in favor of lowering any tax rate we can find, having more commercial taxes, but I think we need to call the question.
Okay. All right. All in favor of the motion, raise your right hand. All opposed? All right. Budget passes 4-1.
Thank you, board members, and thank you for your discussion and time on that. I know that is a process, and please let us know how we can help as we move through the future. All right, if we move on to the building program project update, we have some good news here. At North Columbia Elementary, we have the above ceiling mechanical, electrical, and plumbing continuing in the classroom, wings, corridor, and admin area. I will say it was nice that we were all dried in to do the work this past week because it's been a little bit wet. The contractors are already painting the interior of the school. The window installation continues. Staircase is being installed. Site contractors have been mobilized, installing the stormwater piping from the downspouts. You can see all the mill work that's going in, and furniture delivery is scheduled to start in early July. Moving on to Lakeside High School, again, you can see the same additions that we talked about on the right side. That's really come along very quickly. The classroom addition is on the far right. The additional cafeteria and entrance, it kind of spans across to where the current entrance of the school is now. You can see a lot of the steel going up, and that's where it'll be a nice look to balance the left side of the school on the right side. And then on the left side, you'll see the Performing Arts Center. I think we have some little closer up pictures. You'll notice that you saw the last picture had most of the insulation that we were looking at. The metal panels have been installed, and so it's really coming along quite nicely. once the right side kind of comes up out of the ground a little further, that'll balance that out pretty nicely as well. I think we have a right picture there, so you can see a lot of that steel going in. And a little bit of the height of that one. We won't be able to start on the back side where the gym's going until we remove those portables, which will be happening this summer. Moving on to Evans High School, just a reminder that this summer we're going to be cutting off the power and HVAC for a good bit of the summertime. We'll be relocating the admin and inside any of those processes over to the middle school here on our campus. We'll also be moving some of the sports here as far as the gym, but some of the outdoor sports will continue at Evans High School. However, with power going off and kind of the uncertainty there, we believe we can get more work done and provide a better service if we relocate them down to the middle school. This is a picture of the gym going in. You can see on the right side the new weight room, the locker rooms, the multi-purpose room. Behind that, additional classrooms, and then to the left of that will be the new cafeteria, and kind of to the right would be the kitchen, so that kind of orients you there. You also see to the left of the gym the new entrance areas, some offices, and that'll be a nice entryway into this side of the school. This is just another look from the side. You can see kind of that finished parking lot that we've been using, and you can see the back going in. To the left side of the school, you'll see the new band and orchestra rooms, the new Performing Arts Center here. We'll be also renovating some of the CTAE areas. Over the year, you'll also see that courtyard was taken out, and that'll be enclosed, so we're gaining some additional inside space there. Okay, moving on to some bid results. On April 1st, we solicited sealed competitive bids for technology devices for more than 15 vendors, and we posted the request on the school district website and the Georgia Procurement Registry website. Technology devices included in this proposal are teacher admin laptops, displays, docking stations, desktops, Chromebooks, mice, and keyboards. Proposals were scored using the following criteria: 30% pricing, 20% value add, 20% success of work with us, 15% adherence to RFP requirements, and 15% quality. We received bids from 11 vendors. Those are listed before you, and we recommend you award the contract to the low bidder, processed for an amount of $1,553,400.
Somebody make a motion?
Make a motion to accept it.
Second?
Any discussion?
Do you have a question? Does this generate any other additional expenditures, these types of devices, and reoccurring MRC type software or anything like that?
These are, basically this bid is, because of the tariffs, the bid we did is taking place, so that's the cause, but all of our other software that we put on these verticals for just normal purchase stuff is, I mean, they're expensive, we have 30 schools, and that's too.
You say we had to rebid because of the tariffs. Explain that.
You'll remember, I think it was y'all's first meeting, we brought the same bid to you for approval. And then just weeks later, about a month later, received notification from Prosus through the distributors, the manufacturers, that the prices you approved, they couldn't hold. In some cases they could, in other cases they couldn't. And so, because we rely on this bid for federal expenditures, many other things, and we want to be, true to what you approved, we just couldn't continue on, I think, with it until we rebid it, got good numbers again, and brought it back for approval. It is a little bit higher than what was approved last time, not by a whole lot. Some devices stayed relatively the same, and then some did go up. So hopefully things will stay stable. We don't know, nobody knows, right? So if it moves in the wrong direction again and costs go up, we'll have to bring it back again. I hope not, but that's just the world we're in right now.
Just put the order in the mail tonight?
We did that last time before the price increases. They gave us about a 2-week notice. So we were able to get some purchasing done in the interim.
Just kind of failed to see how they offered to sell us for a certain amount, we accepted it. And then they said, oh, wait a minute, we can do that?
They can. I mean, I don't know about the legal, what we could go after them for necessarily. I think it'd probably be our costs and accepting and reviewing the bid and all that, so it's probably not worth it, but especially a good partner like them. I agree, maybe they didn't, they probably should have, if I was them, baked in some uncertainty into their numbers, but that costs us more, right, in the long run, if vendors are doing that. So I respect it either way.
They know the percent, I mean, they know the percent increase that they can go to before we can go back to bid and say, you violated the rules.
I don't know that we tell them that. We tell you all and hold to it that, we stick to the price that you all approve. If it comes in a little bit lower, that's okay. But we certainly don't want to exceed it. And so when they come back and say half of your bid is now invalid for things out of our control, their control, and prices are going up, we're gonna have to bring it back to bid, and that's what we did in this case.
Unfortunate. Okay, well, so no other questions, all in favor of the motion, raise your right hand. Any opposed? That's approved.
On April 17th, we solicited sealed competitive bid proposals, and solicitation was posted on our website and the Georgia Procurement website. Bids were received from companies before you prior to bid closing. The base bid and this is the Evans High School batting cage, is $430,178. Add alternate 1 to replace synthetic turf in the amount of $34,200, and add alternate 2 to apply spray foam insulation with fire barrier coating in place of bat insulation on the exposed ceiling of the building in the amount of $42,000. Unless you have any questions, we do recommend you approve the bid Kendrick's Construction Company LLC in the amount of $506,378. As a reminder, we are working with insurance and FEMA, and believe between the combination of both of those, it'll cover about $300,000 of this cost.
Someone make a motion?
I move that we approve the bid as presented.
I'll second.
Open for discussion?
Without any other bids, is there any way to compare that price, find out if it's a reasonable price? I mean, I've never purchased a bag.
Yes, and I think we kind of looked through that in a couple of different ways. I know we reviewed that with a number of our internal folks. And some of the time when the bids come in extremely high, we just won't bring them to you. But in this case, we believe it's pretty competitive. And we've been working with insurance and FEMA on this, so we kind of need to make a decision.
And just a question about, so our process is when we don't get other bids, we just use our own internal knowledge and do our own comparisons.
Yeah, that's kind of what we have to go on.
Okay. I'm glad to hear that we do take those steps. That's kind of what I'm asking.
We've done a lot of building here for a good bit of time, so typically we, square footage and kind of materials, so we use that as a basis.
This will be comparable to other batting cages at the high school.
Yeah, we'll be dealing with this. This is very similar to the one at Lakeside, and so that's kind of the standard that we're going for. There are some differences, but it's really based on what the schools wanted. This has a couple of roll-up doors instead of an open area, but that's something they would prefer. When we get out to Harlem and end up doing theirs, they may prefer the open area, but it's 4-lane steel structure, so it's a reasonable price for what we're getting.
And will the difference between what insurance and FEMA cover come out of general funds, or is that also
Building and supplies.
No other questions? All in favor of the motion, raise your right hand. That's approved.
4th, we solicited competitive bids for asphalt paving of parking lots at Brookwood Elementary and Stallings Island Middle School. We solicited bids from more than 15 vendors and posted it on our website as well as the procurement registry. Bids were received from the companies listed before you, and based on the bid results, we recommend awarding the contract to Geary for Brookwood Elementary in the amount of $196,985.62, and for Stallings Island Middle in the amount of $379,713.10.
Make a motion that we accept the bid presented by Superintendent Gary.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
It's hard to believe that we're already paving Stallings. 2 years has it been since we did when the school was built?
2008.
Not long.
And we've had some challenges with some areas of paving that was done around that period of time. If you've driven around the schools, it's gotten very loose. We may have lost a bus in a hole out there, I'm not sure, but there's a lot of holes in that one, so it was. But seriously, we do need those two. We got a number of others we could get to, but we'll just have to take our time getting there. But yeah, you're right. You would hope that maybe they would have lasted a little bit longer.
Yeah. You're right. I've got plenty of models.
Okay, well, all in favor of the motion, raise your right hand. That's approved.
The Columbia County Tax Commissioner's Office, like others across the state, withhold a portion of taxes collected on behalf of the school district as well as other governmental entities. This fee that you see before you are the fee funds that the tax commissioner operations are funded by. The maximum allowed fee by law is 2.5%, which is what most agreements land at. Our current agreement with the Tax Commissioner's Office allows them to withhold 2.25% and is set to expire next tax year. The agreement, this one before you, extends the lower fee of 2.25 for another 10 years through tax year 2035. So at this time, we recommend approval of this agreement through 2035.
Is there another slide or is this it? So, Commissioner Bridges is here? Okay. You can get him down to one?
It's a pretty good price comparatively speaking, if we look at other areas. So the Board of Commissioners has reviewed and approved this already, and so once we approve it, it'll go into effect.
The Board of Commissioners, county pays the same rate?
I think that's, I don't think it probably is, but I'd have to ask.
All right, and the rate is
2.25%.
do I have a motion to approve the agreement? Second?
Resolution they sent us, I think both entities pay the same amount.
I would guess, I don't know all there, so I would think.
Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, raise your right hand. Opposed, seeing none, that's approved.
I'll move on to superintendent reports. As you know, on April 26th, the second annual Arts in the Plaza took place at the Columbia County Performing Arts Center. A day-long event was full of amazing performances by students across each grade level, representing the variety of fine arts programs in our district. Throughout the day, more than 10 performances took place in the lobby area with a variety of instrumentations represented, and more than 1,050 students and 4 special guest musicians performed on the main stage. The art display, more than 975 pieces of student artwork were there on display, and nearly 650 frames of artwork were sold. Overall, 3,315 tickets were sold, with over 1,900 sold on the day of the event. Among our more than 138 volunteers, including some of you, who helped make this event possible, were employees, community members, school and district administrators, and board members. We had 18 event sponsors who helped with the overall cost of the event, as well as providing drinks and snacks for our volunteer hospitality room. Congratulations to our National Honor students at Lakeside High School who won the Collaborative Live Canvas competition. In addition, 2 graduating seniors each received a $1,000 Fine Arts Scholarship to pursue studies in the fine arts after graduation. Those students were Jack Schaefer and Hazel Tunzik, both from Lakeside High School. Proceeds were used by the Columbia County School District Foundation to provide student scholarships like these, along with additional supports for our fine arts education at our schools. Special shout out to Fine Arts Coordinator Danielle Starcher for her efforts to lead such a great event, and it keeps getting better every year, so kudos. We're so grateful to the many students, staff, and families who also helped make this possible. You can save the date for next year's Arts in the Plaza. It's set for Saturday, April 25th, 2026. This time of year is exciting for many reasons, and one of those is that we have the opportunity to celebrate all of our outstanding educators across the district for National Teacher Appreciation Week. Last week, our schools went all out to shower our educators with thanks and appreciation with fun and festive themes. Educators were given notes of appreciation, prizes, food, and other fun treats and events. We join all of our schools in saying thank you, educators, for the important work you do each and every day. At our last meeting, we shared a preview of the Georgia Future Educator Signing Day. This event took place last week, Tuesday, and was a great success. Before you are some photos. A total of 40 students from all 5 high schools who are currently enrolled in a Teaching as a Profession pathway participated in the signing ceremony, signifying their commitment to pursue a career in teaching and hopefully come back to teach with us. Additionally, 1 student from each high school was the recipient of a $1,000 scholarship, courtesy of Georgia's own Federal Credit Union. That's just amazing. These students will join us tomorrow at the Rookie of the Year celebration and network with some of our first-year educators. So we want to congratulate these students and thank all the staff who helped make this event possible, and we look forward to it each year. On May 2nd, we joined school districts across the nation to celebrate the hardworking staff in our school nutrition department. National School Lunch Hero Day is a time to recognize the teams who provide nutritious and delicious meals for students each day. Thanks to our nutrition department, Dr. Bing, along with all of our hardworking managers, assistants, and other team members for all the great work that they do. Each year, during National School Nurse Week, one day is set apart to specifically recognize and celebrate our school nurses. National School Nurse Appreciation Day took place on May 7th. This, too, is an important time to highlight dedicated medical professionals who see to the health of our students and staff each and every day. Thanks to all of our school nurses, as well as our very own director, Ms. Lisa Lyles, for all that they do to keep students and staff happy and healthy. Friendly reminder that this Thursday, May 15th, is our annual kindergarten kickoff. This is a time for our parents with children who will be starting kindergarten in the upcoming school year to visit their zone school, receive assistance with required registration, and learn about the overall kindergarten experience. Each school will welcome families from 5 to 6:30 on Thursday. As you know, we're eagerly awaiting the opening of North Columbia Elementary School, and in the meantime, they're going to be going to the current North Columbia to get all that taken care of. Just some dates and reminders for our community. Summer school registration is now open through May 23rd for middle and high school students. Each year, summer school courses are offered for middle school and high school students who need them for grade promotion. Registration is required and can be completed online. Links to register are available at each child's zone, middle, or high school website. Summer school tuition for high school students who are currently enrolled in the Columbia County School District is $80 per half a Carnegie unit. Middle school students who are currently enrolled pay $80 per class. Tuition will not be refunded once summer school begins. We have to hire the teachers for that, and courses do not meet the minimum enrollment will need to be canceled. But refunds will be issued for those. Moving on to graduation. Next week, we're looking forward to our upcoming commencement for the graduating class of 2024. Those dates and times are listed before you. Tickets are required to enter the park for graduation. The school will provide the number of tickets requested by each student at graduation practice. In case of inclement weather, graduation will be moved to the Columbia County Performing Arts Center inside. Students will be given a separate set of limited tickets at graduation practice in case of inclement weather. The district will notify students and parents through local media, social media, school websites, 2 hours prior to graduation if that's needed. We are watching the weather, and right now it's looking pretty good, but you never know. Things can change.
Don't jinx.
Right. Each commencement will be live streamed on their respective dates and times, and we have the list for you there. The rest of the dates and times of events listed for your information. If you have any questions, let me know. Board members, that completes. I guess we didn't have a second on the agreement with the commissioners, so before we did that.
Did you do that?
Yeah, there was a second.
Keeping us honest here, so even legal. All right. Thank you, Ms. Booth. Board members, that completes my comments.
All right, at this time, we have, our meeting is for public participation. This evening, we have 6 speakers who have submitted requests. Each speaker is allowed up to 3 minutes to address the board. As stated in our board policy, BCBI, we ask you to provide your intended comments while refraining from any derogatory remarks. We also ask that our audience show proper decorum by listening respectfully and avoid any actions or comments that might detract or distract from the speaker's time of remarks. First speaker is Priscilla Benz.
I have something on her behalf. She had to leave due to a family situation. She knows after she worked in the client before and
We can get it after the meeting. Our next speaker is Sheila Reppel. I'll pass it down. She's not. So you can go ahead.
My name is Sheila Revel. I'm a Building Biology Institute graduate. I'm an electromagnetic radiation specialist. I go into homes and I help people lower the EMF exposure, AC electric, AC magnetic, dirty electricity on the power lines, and also radio frequency. Radio frequency is all the stuff that flies through the air, the Bluetooth, the cellular, the Wi-Fi. People don't know this, but there is a health hazard associated with wireless radiation. And I was injured, and I have met dozens of people who are also injured. The problem with it is it's misdiagnosed by doctors. It ranges the gamut from headaches, nausea, anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, exacerbated ADHD, loss of concentration. There's so many symptoms. It's kind of like chemical sensitivity and food sensitivity is a little bit. Once you become sensitized, it's really hard to get unsensitized, and even a small amount of radiation will hurt somebody. I wanted to let you know that this is known. This has been known for a long time. It's been covered up by the FCC. This is a court proceeding that was done. It was argued in January 25th, 2021. It was decided in August 13th, 2021. The United States Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit. Our now Human and Health Services Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., his organization, Children's Health Defense, was one of the petitioners, along with Environmental Health Trust, which I just passed around that organization. You can find a ton of information on that organization. They were suing the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, saying that they had not updated their exposure guidelines. Now, what's exposure? The way you get sick, the cancers, the sensitivities, is by how powerful the wireless radiation is. if you were to stand underneath that wireless access point right there, you would probably get, because I was sitting over there, I was getting 15,000 microwatts. A watt isn't even power. Micro is 1/1,000,000th of a watt. Very tiny, but our electrical systems, we are electric, we're chemical electric. We operate on that level. And that's why at the Building Biology Institute, use that number. Right now I'm getting 572 microwatts. I was getting 15,000 over by the wireless access point. I spoke with Mr. Van Muir, and you're all already doing something to lower the exposure level of students. And you're not one-to-one. That is critical. I worked at a school that had one-to-one. We had so many help. Anyways, I'll send you all some of these links so you can have it, what I was saying. And
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Ash Sonier.
Good evening, members of the board, and thank you for allowing me to speak today. I stand before you not just as a student, but as somebody who has seen the transformative power of student involvement in classrooms, on stages, in labs, and through the countless hours of community service, leadership, and teamwork. Yet, our current system for awarding graduation awards does not reflect the true scope of student dedication across our schools. At present, graduation awards are largely reserved for honor societies and specific programs, many of which, while valuable, are not necessarily reflective of active participation or impact. Too often, awards are earned simply by paying a membership fee, attending a handful of meetings, or just by simply maintaining a GPA. Meanwhile, students who spend countless years dedicating their time, talent, and leadership to co-curricular clubs, such as Molly United Nations, Debate, DECA, TSA, JAMA, and many others, walk across the graduation stage with no visible recognition for their efforts. This sends the wrong message. We must move beyond a system that equivocates achievement solely with academic prestige or financial accessibility. Co-curricular clubs build the same, if not stronger, qualities we aim to foster in education, with perseverance, collaboration, communication, and innovation. These students are often the ones that are organizing the competitions, leading community projects, mentoring youth peers, and putting in the hours after school or on weekends, all without a guaranteed recognition at the end of their journey. I propose that we update our graduation award policy to include a pathway for co-curricular clubs to earn that recognition, not based on the name alone, but through the measurable commitment, service, leadership, and growth. This can include tracking volunteer hours, leadership roles, community participation, or consistent involvement over multiple years. By doing this, we reinforce that hard work in areas of students' life matters, and we validate the contributions of every student, not just those that meet simply the GPA thresholds or pay the fee to get national honors awards. We are raising the next generation of problem solvers, leaders, and artistics, and engineers. Let us ensure that our graduation traditions reflect the full range of student experiences, not just those that are the easiest to see and give out. Thank you for your time and consideration, and I hope you will join me in building a more inclusive, equitable, and inspiring standard for recognizing student achievement at graduation. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Cynthia Stein.
Segue, because I'm here to talk about Accord. I'm Cynthia Stein, and thank you for allowing me to speak today. I'm here today as a parent, where in fact I have served the youth in scouting for over 12 years. And our scouts, their final journey is the Eagle Scout. And for the Girl Scouts, it's the Girl Scout Gold. This is closer to home for me because my son is graduating this year, but based on the requirement to wear cords, he will not be able to wear his Eagle cord as he crosses the stage at Greenbrier. This has been brought before, from what I understand, the board many years ago, and I'm hoping we can make a change. I was not aware of this until my son had a picture of himself and somebody told me he would not be able to wear that cord. I understand the criteria is for academic excellence, and I hope I can gain support in sharing that the Eagle Scout and even the Girl Scout Gold Award are heavily rooted in academic-driven tasks and performance. In Scouting America, young men and women will start as early as the 5th grade and spend 5 to 7 years following a strict standard of evaluated tasks, demonstrating leadership in many cases, computations, producing a product while earning merit badges. To be awarded the merit badge, each scout must complete each task. Some may take well over a year to complete to a standard under evaluation of an adult merit badge counselor, of which I serve as a counselor and a leader for Scouting. The councils are bound by an entire criteria outlined in merit badge handbooks, which we have one for over 100 merit badges. To be awarded, they must complete these tasks, and they are bound by the criteria. To attain Eagle Scout, you must complete 21 merit badges of 14 Eagle specific. There are 135 merit badges. This does not include the requirements to advance in different ranks in Scouting on the journey to Eagle. Many run parallel with academic courses being taken in high school. For example, we have personal fitness requirements, a compilation of 90-day fitness requirements to include measurable tasks. Personal management, which covers areas in tracking money, use of money, completing financial projects, to name a few, of which there's also comparable courses of that in the high school. Both Eagle Scout and Girl Scout Gold are nationally recognized, and some may even truly say they are globally recognized, which only 5% of the youth in this country will be awarded these awards. The honor will stay with them for an entire lifetime. It's one of the few merits that is asked on your scholarship application and work applications even when you're 50 years old. I'm not asking that their achievement be announced at graduation as perhaps the valedictorian or the salutatorian, because I know that is limited. I am asking these youth get their names in their program, be recognized as Eagle Scouts, along with the other students who have their awards recorded for them. For this year, I'm asking that if an Eagle Scout would like to wear their National Recognized Honor Cord that is paid for by the Scout families, not by the council, by the Board of Education, they be given that opportunity to graduate. Thank you. Anybody have any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Bell.
You're welcome.
Our next speaker is Catherine James. Ms. James here. Okay. The next person speaking, Kelly Zarimba. Is Zarimba here? Okay, well then that concludes our public participation. Thank you for our participants for the presentation.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we retire executive session to discuss personnel and real estate matters.
All in favor? Raise your right hand. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this time we're going to go into executive session. Go to the rest of you.
Also make the motion that we approve the personnel sheet as amended in executive session.
All in favor, raise your right hand. That's approved. Okay. Are there any board items?
I did have a couple of items that the community have brought forth to me, some of them that we heard speak tonight. There's been a lot of discussion on cords. I know we have a policy and a procedure that discusses which cords can be worn at graduation. I just wanted to kind of open up a discussion to see if the board was open to the idea of either amending our policy or amending our policy with wording that would maybe open it up to things such as Scouts and 4-H that are very intimately involved with our board and our school district. So for example, we recognize 4-H presidents on a regular basis. Eagle Scouts, a lot of times their projects are at our schools that they do. And so I just wanted to open it up, have a discussion, and see if the board was maybe open to that idea of expanding some of the cords to some of these kind of, I guess you could loosely call them partnership organizations that have a lot of interaction with the school, especially over the periods of time that the students are involved to achieve these high-level awards. What are y'all's thoughts on that?
Not really prepared to discuss it.
Yeah, I would prefer to see the policy and then we discuss the policy and have the history of why. Because I know in the past, I can't remember when we reviewed policy last. There was a reason for it.
The last one that was changed was the military honors. Remember, there's a year or so of discussion around how that might happen, and since it was academic honors, we went back and looked at a way for our ROTC and academic honors to apply, and so that's how that one was added.
Would there be any legal of not allowing someone to have?
No, it's a policy. I mean,
Okay.
it's,
I
I think it's a,
you wouldn't be like under the law of someone who doesn't have a board, but we let someone else that wasn't accurate.
Okay, just for clarification, the cords that are worn at our graduation ceremonies now are worn and awarded based on academic achievement.
in the school district, and
But in this school, yes.
and it's been a long history of that. I know Dr. Campbell, you've got a lot of that history also, but maybe in a nutshell, why we've kept it that way for so long.
It says that the should highlight only its highest high school academic achievements. And so over the years, we've had a lot of requests from various organizations, and they're all outstanding organizations, but it becomes very difficult to decide which ones should receive a record and which ones should not when you go outside academic achievements. Some examples include Red Cross. We've had some from Thespian, because they have a state office that they were giving some. We've had some that were wanting to express their Hawaiian descent and wanted to wear certain stoles. And Girl Scouts, that's when the speaker spoke. So we've had a lot of requests over the years, but this policy, I will say, we've always gone back to it. And once we've explained it, we've been able to stick to our academic achievements. We've had a lot of input from the other side too, that once we start allowing a lot of cords, it diminishes the value and the respect of all of the academic achievements. So there's two sides to look at that problem.
Is there a time?
So I know we had an email going around with some of the different background information on this, and I think one of the things that had been pointed out is we have, for example, the military honors, military corps, that was pointed out as not specifically being academic, and how some of these requests are academic related in the sense that students are very involved in the school. So I would be open to, I understand the other side too that says, you accept one, maybe you open a floodgate. But I do think there's room for middle ground to maybe add some sort of process wording that says it has to meet maybe certain criteria, maybe so many years of service involved with the school district, 3 years, or it has to be a organization with a high level of partnership with the school district, where as these requests come, we have a few criteria as a board that we can look and discuss and vote to say, hey, does this meet these general criteria that meet the intent of this? So I know I'm open to it. I wanted to open up a discussion because if it turns out that the whole board is open to it, then I would say the next step would be to look at some wording, maybe to amend the policy to reflect that. If the board's kind of not open to it, then that really ends the discussion at this time. And I can go back to those constituents and say, hey, we brought it up and here was the answer.
I will add that the ROTC, when we added that, we did go back and tie that to academics. So, military cord is tied to the grade that they made in ROTC, actual academic course, and they have to be part of that for 3 years. And so we went to the ROTC teachers and said, let's develop academic criteria for students that would weren't wearing a cord. And so those teachers developed academic criteria for that. And that's why we made the change in the policy, because we linked it back to academics.
So it's fair to say that every cord that someone wears on graduation ties into something
It's
that
academic
they
achievement.
That's
achieve
exactly
in
right.
our school system.
Correct.
And not only that, but there's somebody in our school system that can verify the degree of achievement that has been attained. You start attaching anything else to cords, who confirms, who signs off, is it uniform, is it reliable, and is it really what we're charged with doing here in the Columbia County School District? I mean, our goal is student achievement. Our cords reflect student achievement. That's not to say that the awards they're winning and that they're achieving, Eagle Scout, that doesn't really need cords. That's a lifetime award that speaks for itself. It's awesome. Not having
Recognize Eagle Scouts here.
right, and not, we do. It doesn't, it's not going to be diminished by not having a cord at graduation. Okay, but at the same time, bringing in anything other than academic achievement at graduation starts to erode the academic efforts that people have made for the last 4 years.
So would it be a possibility, kind of like you're talking about with the military corps, to tie some of these requests into an academic honors to where if you were an Eagle Scout and you meet this academic threshold, is that?
And you already have cords that will be provided. If you meet academic thresholds, you have honor cords, or you have a National Honor Society or Beta Club, or you belong to another National Honor Society. So there are already cords provided for that. Some of those kids look like a Christmas tree. They've got so many cords for academic achievement. So there's no shortage of cords.
And just a similar point of clarification, we do not have high honors, correct? We have honors.
We never have had high honors in high school. Middle school we did. We do. Don't we still? Middle school you can, you get high honors if it's 95 or above. Is I remembering that right? High school, it's 90 or above, not 89.5, but 90 or above, and you're an honor graduate.
Okay, so
Now, the high honor would be Valor South.
so if you get less than a 90, there's no honors associated with that, so it's one, okay.
You're a graduate.
A point
You're
of
glad.
You have the National Honor Society. What is
Yes.
it? Which
Yes.
is
Yeah,
academic.
there are other cords that they'll be awarded for an 85, but as far as undergraduate cord, it's not
Yeah,
zero.
so if you have the others, like 95 and above,
Yes.
right? Yeah, so you did get recognized for 95.
Not 90. No, below 90, there are other options for below 90, but as far as undergrad, it's 90. The only time we recognize 95 is for middle school.
And it's always been this way? It wasn't any changes that were made?
We went back in the history of the procedure and policy, and all of that in 2006, and there was no mention of highest honor except for middle school.
Okay. Thanks for clarifying that. And then my second, unless there was anything that anybody wanted to add, I had the second issue brought up that I know we have emails about kind of giving a background on it. I had a gentleman who had done a lot of research and was looking at the possibility of adding an additional recess for elementary school, because right now elementary students only have the one after lunch recess. And so his idea was to take 5 minutes from each core class to make a 20-minute morning recess. Now, the issue is that QBE funding, I guess, would be affected if we don't do the full academic time. And some of my questions for that is, his daughter actually spoke at the previous meeting and had talked about some of the benefits of recess that research provides that actually help boost academic achievement and things like that. And, it was pointed out by another member of the community that as a board, we take recesses after about an hour to have breaks, and that maybe elementary school students feel the same way after being in class all morning. But my thought is I see our strategic waiver, and it seems like we have a few different flexibilities for QBE financing within it that maybe would be an option to pursue. But I also, even just talking to my own kids about elementary school, we start brainstorming together all the times that they missed academic classes for things like PBIS events, scholastic book fairs, market day, school assemblies, field day, counseling classes and fundraisers such as the Fun Run Booster-thon. And so my thought is maybe there is some flexibility there, and if the board is interested, maybe our next step would be to talk at the state level or, and kind of pursue to see maybe there's an option. Because I know I grew up with 3 recesses. Other states have 2 to 3 recesses. I think there's some benefit to it.
You're aware that our elementary students have EE too, right?
I believe they have it on a rotational basis, at least when my kids were in there.
I'm confused. You have kids in the elementary school right now?
Not right now. I did it a few years ago. Yeah.
You keep saying that, I mean, I thought, that's what I thought.
No, so when my kids were in elementary school, so that'd be probably 2 or 3 years ago now. So again, maybe things have changed. It sounds like from this parent, they're still at only the 1 recess a day. And I know it was kind of a shock for us moving from Texas, because Texas had 2 recesses and going down to 1. I mean, we adjusted, but it was a surprise for me as a parent, especially with the rise of, ADD and things like that, to where I know kids really do benefit from that fresh air and exercise. So I'm just putting it out for discussion. I think the first step is to see if the board is interested in pursuing it. To start looking into if there's options to where we could do it without it affecting QBE funding.
I think we need to be careful on just bringing items up without us maybe going back and looking at some things. It would be helpful for myself and for staff. I mean, we're pretty good at it, but I also wouldn't want to answer it incorrectly, and maybe we do need to check our strategic waivers and some things like that. So, maybe it's more of a board decision on what you would like staff to look into. I mean, I think if it's just a yes or no question, or maybe a quick, but if these are getting pretty detailed around QBE and some other, and I feel pretty comfortable with us being able to, but I think that would be better for us to maybe research for you if that's something the board wants us to do, because there's a lot to some of these questions.
So as I understand it, what we're asking them to do then is to decrease instructional times, increase recess, and raise the test scores. You have that?
So I would say
I think if it's something that the full board is interested in us maybe digging into a little bit further, I think that's fair and that we could do, but I don't know that necessarily us discussing it at that level is something we ought to do until we go back and really look at some of the details, if that's fair.
I know
I don't mind doing that.
when we add the 7th period, it's a struggle when we start messing with times on instruction, correct?
Yeah. No, we've taken a lot of time to detail this, and even I think we gave you some feedback after the person asked for that at the last meeting, and I don't have all that with me, but thought we really did a pretty good job of breaking all that down on the documentation that we sent back to y'all. So, if it's something we need to bring back up, then
I don't think it's instructional time.
I mean, I personally think your time is better spent doing what it is you do. But,
I'm not asking to look at it.
I'm not.
And that's kind of like I tell people when they reach out to me, we talk about it, sometimes we send emails, sometimes, I think it brings up a good discussion, and really the next threshold is, as a board, is it something we're interested in pursuing? If we are, then we task it. If not, then at least the community can see that a discussion took place. So that's all I'm asking, and I appreciate y'all's time on those things.
All right. Any other board items? Anybody want to?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I just trying to give somebody else a chance.
All in favor of adjourning, raise your hand. All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen.